Welcome back to the Western Wild Channel. In today's video, we're going to do a quick introduction of ourselves and the channel since we just hit 1,000 subscribers. We're going to walk through some of our recent summer adventures. So we've got some great little stories to tell. And then we're going to wrap up with a little announcement.
Big life announcement coming soon. Watch till the end of the video. You'll see.
Yeah, super days. Current state of things. Very soggy campground.
So first things first, I'm Tessa. This is my husband, Dylan. We live in Sisters, Oregon. We moved here about 2 years ago because we were coming over here all the time from the valley in Oregon anyways. And we wanted our life to be more adventure-based. We wanted to be able to spend less time on the highways and more time adventuring. We really love hiking and camping in the immediate woods outside of Sisters and in Central Oregon. That's kind of what we've spent the last 2 years doing since we moved here. When we are not playing in the outdoors, we have our own small business marketing consulting agency. And we are also working on developing our own outdoor gear company. Our goal long-term is that we can travel and explore the world in a more overlanding style.
In terms of content that you can expect from our channel, we feature a lot of in-depth gear reviews, how-to videos, and overland-style adventure trips. Moving forward, we will also have some DIY content as we build out our Oru Designs camper.
We've had a really jam-packed summer. We've gone on quite a few little mini trips that have been really fun trips for us, but maybe not full YouTube videos for you guys to see. We've also kind of enjoyed being present on these trips and not filming quite as much. But we did want to give you a little overview of what we've done this summer so you can kind of see where we've been, what we've been up to, and maybe get some inspiration for your own trips. Shortly after we got back from picking up our camper in California, we took a group of our friends out for Memorial Day weekend to the Alvord Desert.
The Alvord Desert Playa is a 6 by 10 mile dry lake bed located in southeastern Oregon. It is a very popular destination for overlanders, speed enthusiasts, and people who want to have their own personal Burning Man. If you can make it past the bumpy access roads, the BLM allows vehicles to drive on the playa without stated speed restrictions. Watching the sun-baked lake surface fly by is an otherworldly experience that never really gets old. Camp can be set up, well, anywhere. Some groups prefer to set up on the edge for protection from the elements and privacy when it's time to go to the bathroom. More on that later. We enjoy a full Alvord experience camping right out in the middle.
This was really kind of a special trip for us because all of our friends had never been to the Alvord Desert before. So getting to share this place with them and having them experience the playa made for kind of an extra fun trip for us for Memorial Day weekend.
Let's talk through some considerations before coming to the Alvord. First off, the weather can be all over the place. Wind is pretty much the norm, so having a hard-walled camper like the Oru is a game changer. If you bring a tent, stake it down well. Bright sun is usually a bigger issue than rain, but when the playa does get wet, even the most capable 4x4s will get stuck and face an expensive recovery bill. Check the weather forecast beforehand, and watch out for the dark patches like this one on the playa. When driving on the playa, always be respectful by staying away from other camps and only drive as fast as you can see. While we're on this shot, let's talk poop. The Alvord is a sensitive landscape, so using a portable toilet or driving to the nearest pit toilet is strongly recommended to leave no trace. Similarly, portable fire pits are ideal, but if you don't have one, make sure to pack out any remaining coals, then fill and flatten any holes you dig. All right, so it was the second day of our trip out to the Alvord, and we were going out on a little hot springs adventure excursion, heading south towards the Nevada border, and we're, ripping along at highway speeds, and I see out of the corner of my eye this smiling, panting, black and white dog just hanging out in the shrub brush. I almost couldn't believe what it was, because we weren't next to any houses immediately. It's just middle of nowhere.
Very rural area.
Yeah, we're like, okay, this is not all right. So we flip a U-turn, pop back around.
I got out of the car because he was driving and kind of called out to the dog, and he came running right up to me, wagging his tail, still kind of in that low, I'm scared, but please help me mentality. Came right up to me and rolled right over, demanding belly pets. We had our dog Porter, who you've seen in a few other videos, with us, so we couldn't put him in directly in the car with us, but we were able to clear some space in the bed of our truck.
I mean, real advantage to having the Oru that we had picked up just 1 week before. Otherwise, not really sure what we would have done with this dog that was covered in ticks and who knows what, and don't want it to interact with our dog in the front. So great to have the camper have an enclosed space that we could put him in and then drive on a couple miles to the only little town in that area, where we stopped in at the town bar, one of like maybe 2 or 3 businesses, and started asking around for who the owner might be.
Yeah, they were not able to track down the owner directly, but they were able to say that, this dog definitely belongs to one of the ranches around here, and told us that, he probably fell off a truck going to a job site or what have you. They were able to figure that out just based on the fact that he was missing canines, and apparently cow dogs are missing canines pretty frequently, because they get them kicked out or they get in fights or what have you.
Also very expensive.
This was like a $6,000 dog. So we ended up hanging on to him for most of the day. Really kind of discovered that, he had a lot of ticks, had a lot of fleas, and we kind of had to make the best decision to keep our dog safe. And we were able to interact with the bar owner, the people at the bar, and determined that leaving the dog with those people was the best step for everybody involved.
And ultimately, someone volunteered to take him home, at least until they could find who the owner was. Before heading home from the Alvord, it's practically a requirement to stop in at Field Station for one of their famous milkshakes.
Cheers.
So a couple weeks after our Alvord adventure, we headed back out again to explore a section of the Ochoco National Forest that I've had my eyes on for a while. The shortest roads to this area are cut off by private ranches, making it very remote and hard to get to. Normally we're all over that. Forest Service maps and satellite imagery made it look like there could be some beautiful campsites that we might have all to ourselves. On this trip, we found out that it is actually possible for a place to be too remote for good dispersed camping.
Yeah, this area is so sparsely traveled and so sparsely camped in that you almost kind of need to bring a weed whacker out to clear some of the campsites, which is not something we would do. Let me preface that. But we found a couple of spots that, basically had thigh-high grasses and flowers and such, with some semblance of a fire ring left over that, the Forest Service has very obviously gone to great lengths to not maintain.
We struck out at half a dozen overgrown and buggy campsites and continued south. The landscape became more rugged and beautiful, with expansive views to the valley below, but we couldn't even find a pullout to camp. So a couple hours into our trip looking for these campsites in this remote area, we have not seen a single other car for, miles and miles and miles.
Roughly 5 hours.
Yeah. We get to kind of the south end of the area that we're exploring, round a corner, and bees around a corner, and see 2 big black butts sitting in the road.
And they see us and they take off right on up the hill. But Dylan has seen many more black bears in the woods than I have, but these were the biggest black bears that I've ever seen. They were sizable, and you could tell that we were definitely in their home. Yeah, it was pretty neat.
Two big black bears. Tessa's like taking it all in, and I'm like, grab the camera. And fortunately, we caught like the last little bit of them coming out of the woods. After the bear encounter, we did manage to find a couple less remote sites, but the bugs were nasty and it was getting late. We made the difficult decision to abandon this area and head closer to home for a more tried and true campsite. Just a golden retriever in his happy place. We spent the rest of the weekend relaxing, playing in the creek, and shooting our Oru camper walk-around video. So our next trip was for my birthday weekend, and we wanted to head up to one of our favorite mountain lakes not too far from home, meet up with some friends, have a good time paddleboarding out on the water. Well, brand new paddleboard, 13 PSI. Little recap on this. This paddleboard was a birthday present, and this is actually the second unit that we had. The first one gave out with a slow leak. And this one, about 3 PSI below the recommended pressure, and it blew out entirely. So you ever wonder what the inside of a paddleboard looks like? It's got all these strings in here to help keep it rigid. And obviously, the seams on this one were not very well done. That really sucks. Was looking forward to getting out with 2 paddleboards this weekend. Yoinked. Who's gonna get there first? Where'd it go? I'm not really sure how interesting this is as YouTube content, but it's like fun. Hard to explain just how choice, lovely, fantastic.
You keep trying to take the paddleboard out.
Cooper, no. No, Cooper.
This is summer right here. This is what we live for. This is why we get out.
Are you comfy, Porter? This is good, Porter. Are you having a good pup day?
We are. But we also had some interesting experiences finding out some of the negatives with dispersed camping in very popular areas in the summer this time of year.
Yeah, our neighbors were a group of about 30 people crammed into 2 campsites meant for, maybe 3 rigs, and there were at least 10 rigs. At least with trailers. We're big advocates for taking care of the campgrounds that we're in, and so that we can enjoy them for long term, and so that our children can enjoy them, and so that you can enjoy them. And what we saw with this group was really people parking in the brush, putting their quads and their dirt bikes in the brush, really not taking care of the general area, which was disappointing to see. And disappointing to experience.
They were also just really, I'd say, disrespectful neighbors, constantly wrapping their engines throughout the day with, no actual movement. Driving around corners rapidly, almost running into us when we were walking around the camping area, playing music at odd times. And, I think it's really important if you're going to go out and go wild camping, like, you need to recognize the situation of who's around you and, like, how remote are you? And if you have neighbors, like, just
be nice.
Be kind. Be respectful.
Be nice.
Recognize that they might be looking for a different experience than what you are. They might be coming to a pristine mountain lake to have peace and quiet. And, I think that should be respected.
Yeah, and if you want to have a rager in the woods, you know, by all means, go for it. Have a blast. But go pick a site that is insulated and away from people, that you're not going to be keeping them up, waking them up, putting them in danger with motorcycles that don't want to go slow. And if you know that's how you want to ride, by all means, do it. Just go do it in an area that's appropriate for that. Most recently, we went to Hosmer Lake, which is kind of up Cascade Lakes Highway outside of Bend.
I'm on my own, broken alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there.
This was another more kind of low-key camping trip for us. We brought some friends from our neighborhood and some friends of ours from Eugene, neither of which had ever been to Hosmer Lake before. And I think that's something that we've really been enjoying this summer, is getting some of our friends into the type of camping that we do. It's maybe more on the lighter end of what we do, but watching them start to really love and enjoy and get to know this area and this style of adventure has been, I'd say, very heartwarming for us and fun to do.
What's going on here?
Okay, we're worried because, see over there, the smoke, a lot of smoke. It smells like smoke and it looks like smoke. And I heard a crinkling noise like it was fire. It could be the chip bag.
We think it's clouds.
I think it's smoke.
Finally get to answer the question, how does the Oreo do in the rain? I'd say pretty good. You got that backpack right there. Not really wet, little dripping down on the paddleboard. Not bad. 4K cocktails. You, Craig. 2 straws to choose from. Woo-hoo. Cheers. Thank you for the lovely Aperol Spritz. Aperol Spritz. Aperol Spritz. Cheers.
All right, so going to be testing out our new geyser shower system here. Haven't used it yet. So far it's pretty easy to set up. We're just going to use the truck to power it today because you can see we don't have a lot of sun and I don't want to drain our battery. So we'll see how this works in a few minutes. All right, so far it's turned on right away, and try and use this here after I read the directions. It works.
Works. Took a moment. We got to work on that fitting a little bit.
Yes.
I think it got maybe a little bit over pressurized. So the key is lock.
Works great. We just need a little rubber thingy to stand on
And work on that fitting.
and work on that fitting, but it works.
Geyser shower, probably a little more info on this later after we really figure it out.
Yes.
I'm asking for what to get going?
Fire for an hour. I'm hungry.
You use a fire starter to start
So we prepared it.
like it worked last week.
This is going to be like the 3rd excessive fire starter featured on our channel here. Is it going? Is it just like air?
It is out.
That's flame. Huh.
Get it to 11.
There you go. Hey.
Some chick bringing up butane later from going to Austin to shit. You know Austin.
Isn't he a firefighter?
Yeah. He's a fire marshal.
Oh. He knows a thing or two about fire.
No, you do not. She's just fine on her own.
They got married after like 3 months to do it that way. Like, but in
Yeah, Porter's that steak. It's not for you.
Yummy.
Pretty much, I would say 85% vegetarian.
One was pretty.
As it turns out, there actually was a small lightning fire across the lake from us. Fortunately, a helicopter dropped off some firefighters and they were able to put it out quickly. So peaceful. After the birthday paddleboard blowout, Body Gloves sent a third model for us to try. This one seemed to work out. We had a great time in the water that day, but didn't do a lot of filming. Later on, my buddy Mike and I hit up one of my favorite off-road trails in the area to see how the Oru would handle a rough road. The camper was hardly noticeable on the back of the Tundra, and it took us to some epic dispersed sites that we'll have to camp in later. We wrapped up the trip by talking late into the night around the last campfire of the season. It's a bit unusual for us to go camping in an actual campground.
Like make the reservation.
Yeah,
type of campground.
we do most of our trips out dispersed in the wild. We love getting remote. But I think at the same time, like as the whole overlanding craze has developed, there's become kind of this stigma around using an actual campground that I don't really think is necessary. You know, it's great to get out in the wild, but there are also benefits to staying at an actual reservable campground. You know, it's nice to have a spot where like you can make the reservation and you know like I'm going to have a place to sleep tonight by a beautiful mountain lake. You can have fires into the heart of fire season. There's toilets for people who are into that kind of thing.
Which, let's be honest, that it's always kind of nice.
Yeah, so there's some significant benefits to going out to a real campground. And I don't think there should be a stigma applied to that at all.
No, there's a time and a place for everything. So for our big kind of fun announcement here, we have some news that will definitely change the content on our channel a little bit and change how we adventure. We are expecting our first child in January, which is fun. Yeah, you've probably heard us say a phrase in a lot of our videos lately of we're tired. Because I've been pregnant through all of these things, and we've been doing camping through the first trimester, which is really not a good time to do a lot of camping, I'm not going to lie. It's been challenging. It's been very challenging, but thankfully I have a very supportive and loving husband who has made us continuing to adventure very doable. There's been a lot of compromises on both ends, but we've been able to adventure in a way that is sustainable, which I think is the biggest and most important thing for both of us, is that we're still getting out. I'm not left behind, and he doesn't feel stuck in the house going stir crazy, which has been the biggest challenge. But we'll have some more videos coming out in the next few months on that really just discuss pregnancy and camping and adventuring and how to modify what we're used to doing for those things, so that any other ladies that are watching out there and are feeling maybe like I still want to adventure but I'm really not up to this, hopefully I can provide you with a little bit of insight as to how to accomplish it and feel comfortable while doing it.
It just about wraps it up for our update today. Thanks again for watching. Hitting 1,000 subscribers means so much to us to see this channel grow, and like all of the active comments and interaction. It's been awesome. So thank you again for all of that. Coming up, we're going to have a few more gear reviews. We're going to do a little preview of our plans for building out our Oru camper. And then in September, we should have some bigger adventure videos coming down the pipe. So thanks again for watching, and as always, stay wild.
Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.
He's a good dude.